Let's solve that chicken and the egg problem that all freelance writers have when they first get started, and that is the freelance portfolio. And stick through to the end of the video because the last tip is awesome, and it could be the difference between putting together a really professional portfolio or just some really weak thing that really doesn't stand out. The portfolio. Well, this kind of sucks because you're in a situation where you need a portfolio to get a job, but you can't get any articles to write unless you get hired. It's that same situation that every other industry deals with, where you need experience to get the job, but you can't get experience without a job. It's the same thing, so it's no different. Writers are not on their own there. The truth is, though, that a portfolio is absolutely necessary. You have to have one. Your portfolio is the place where you get to showcase your work, show off the articles that you're the most proud of, but you also really get to show the hiring editor that you understand the niche, that you know what you're doing, and that you'll be an asset to the team if they hire you. When I was new to writing, almost every single application had at least one fill-in box where you were supposed to put a couple of links in and really show off what work that you were the most proud of. And that was years ago, and there's more freelancers now than ever before, so I can only imagine that portfolios are as important, if not more now. Now, you should know that eventually your portfolio itself doesn't really become quite as important. I looked back at like my last six new clients, and only one of those clients asked me for my portfolio. The reality is that the more articles that you write, the more editors or marketing directors or whoever are going to be reaching out to you for you to write for them. And that means that they've already kind of gone through your portfolio, whatever articles you have on the internet, and they know what you can do. So at some point, your portfolio becomes a little bit less important. But even me, with thousands of articles, I still have to give out my link to my work every once in a while. So how do we get a portfolio if no one will hire us? Well, there's some age-old advice that still stands true, and it's that you should start your own blog. And I know that might seem outdated, might seem like it's not going to work, but the reality is it does work. And I'm going to give you 5 tips right now to make sure that it works really, really well for you. And like I said, stick around to that 5th tip because it really matters. All right, my first tip involves naming your blog. A lot of writers and bloggers at this point like to get really cute with their blog names, and freaking don't. There is one name I'm going to give you that you should call your portfolio blog, and that's what you should call it. You ready? Recent articles. You don't need some stupid name for your blog. Reality is, if you name it some cute name, it just makes you look inexperienced and frivolous, and it just draws attention to the fact that you're a new writer. You really want a name that implies that you've written more than the 5 or 6 articles that you're sending them in their blog portfolio. So just be smart with the way you name it and go with recent articles. And this even matters when you do the URL slug. So if you don't know, URL slug is the name of whatever page you have after your domain name. So I want you to not write blog after abc.com. It needs to be abc.com/recent articles. This way, when you send a hiring editor your URL link, it looks like you've got a professional URL link with some articles that you're proud of, not just some personalized blog. Now, I will say this, there is one exception to this recent articles naming rule that I made, and it's in the 5th tip, so stick around for it because it matters. All right, so my next piece of advice involves choosing a niche. Hopefully you already know that it is important to choose a niche because it allows you, this is the fastest way for you to establish that you're an expert, and also the quickest way for you to make the most amount of money possible. If you stay general, you're never really going to build that expertise. So I did a whole video on this, and I'll link it at the end of this video so you can check that out next, but it's important to niche down. Once you choose a couple of niches, you're going to write whatever articles you need for your blog portfolio in those niches. You shouldn't be writing blog posts about parenting or dogs or friggin' dandelions, unless those are your niche. But those, I got to tell you, those niches don't pay all that well. When you apply to a job, the hiring editor wants to know that you've written in those niches before. So pick 1 or 2 and make sure that whatever articles you put in your blog portfolio are within those niches, or at least very, very close. So then how do you choose articles to write to put into the blog portfolio? Here's what I'm going to tell you. You already have your niches. Go find some of the biggest websites within those niches and find a couple of articles that they've written that you enjoy and rewrite them in your own words for your own blog. And the reason you're going to do this is because clearly those experts in those niches believe that those topics were important enough to put on their website. So you should show that you obviously understand the industry as well, and you're going to put them on yours. That's going to help a hiring editor recognize that, hey, this person really might be an expert and they know exactly what to write about within this topic. All right, my third tip is make sure that you are optimizing your blog portfolio articles for SEO. And the truth of it is we're not trying to rank for it. I'll explain all that, but that you do need to show that you have some type of search engine optimization training. Now, this can be the real stumbling block because when you're brand new, it's very hard to understand SEO unless you've actually spent some time learning it. So guess what? You have to spend some time learning it. You have to spend at least a few days learning the basics of SEO and then implementing the best practices that you've learned into your blog portfolio articles. You can find so many videos on YouTube, even articles on the web about how to implement SEO, how to use it. So go check those out and study those. And if you're interested, maybe I'll do a video on SEO down the road. It's kind of a really deep topic, and it wasn't something that I planned on doing on this channel, but it might be something that we can get into and go over the basics. So the other thing that I'll suggest is that you use a couple of tools. And I know as a new writer, it might be a little bit hard to shell out the money for all this stuff, but you know, it could be a big help. So if you're looking for topics to write and you didn't find them on the websites that you were checking out that already are in your niche, you can use tools like Keyword Finder or SEMrush or Ubersuggest to find articles or topics in your niche that are in pretty high demand. And normally as a new writer, you want to shoot for low keyword difficulty. But right now, as a brand new writer trying to put out a blog portfolio, you want to go with articles that everybody is writing so you can show that you understand the industry. The other thing is you really don't have to worry about these articles, about whether their SEO is strong enough to have them rank on the first page of Google. And there's a reason why. It's in my fifth tip, so stay tuned for that. But right now, what we want to do is we want to write hot topics in our industry, in our niche. So using a tool like Keyword Finder or SEMrush or Ubersuggest can get that done. Now, if you need a tool to help you implement SEO because you don't really understand it yet, I would suggest a tool like Surfer SEO. Surfer SEO helps you write articles and shows you where you can put keywords in, which keywords to use, how to use them, and it's not the be all end all by any means, but it can be a big step up for a brand new writer to learn how to implement some of this SEO stuff without having like a huge background in it. And if I'm being honest with you, keyword tools are how I learned SEO years ago. So there's definitely some value in it. And I would suggest that if you are a little shy on the SEO topic, that's the route that you go. And by the way, I'm not an affiliate of Ubersuggest, Keyword Finder, as SEMrush, or Surfer SEO. These are just tools that I've used, and I know that they work, so I suggest them. Okay, so now we need to talk about the types of articles that you should include in your blog portfolio, because this matters just as much as anything. We don't want our blog portfolio to just be repetitive, like copy and paste the same idea, the same type of topic over and over again. We want to show a hiring editor that we know how to write a few different types of articles because that makes us look more flexible. And that also shows our hiring editor that if they send us a topic on a couple different types of articles, that we can cover them all and we're more versatile. So what are those types of articles? I'm going to go with 3 basic types of articles right now that you should put on your blog portfolio to kind of show that you're flexible enough. So those 3 types of articles that I think you should put into your blog portfolio are an in-depth how-to, a informational article that explains a topic, and then a product roundup or review. So these 3 types of articles are the types of articles that new writers will get the most from whoever their assigning editor is. So if you can show them already that you know how to do these things and really figure out how to write one of these articles, then when they hire you and send you work, they feel like they've got less to do to teach you how to do it. Less hand-holding, you can kind of be left on your own to get the job done. And if you don't know how to write these 3 types of articles, I get it because you haven't done it before, but you can probably just do a quick search through Google and find a couple of articles on how to write these. I could do videos in the future on these topics if that's what you want. Let me know in the comments below if that's something you'd be interested in. Now, finally, my golden tip. Now, this is something completely different and it could change the face of your brand new blog portfolio completely. And that is, you are not going to treat your blog portfolio as a portfolio, but as a marketplace of available articles. And remember when I said that we could change the name, but I would mention that in the 5th tip? That's what you would name it, available articles. And basically what you'll do is you will create a blog portfolio full of articles that you can imply are for sale. And this is not dishonest. This is not unethical. Writers do this. They write articles and then they sell them directly to whoever wants them. And you can do that. I mean, it's kind of hard when you're a brand new writer to sell an article to somebody, but you can set your portfolio up to look like it is a marketplace. And you don't have to have buy now buttons or anything like that. You can just put a little caveat on each page that says, hey, if you want to buy this, contact me. But what that does is it lets your blog portfolio, instead of looking like it's a personal blog, it looks more like a revolving carousel of articles that you're writing and selling frequently. So there's no way to really gauge how many articles you've written because people could be just buying them off the shelf of your blog. So that's a beautiful way to create a blog portfolio that looks really, really professional. And I mean, it could potentially make you money if somebody decides to buy anything off of it. But here's the thing that you need to know if you're going to do this. You cannot have these articles index on Google, because if you do and somebody were to buy them, then if they post them on their website, they could get hit with a duplicate content penalty. So what you have to do is whatever hosting software you use, like WordPress or whatever you have, you need to make sure that these pages don't index on Google. That's usually just a little toggle button that you can hit that says don't index this page, but it's really, really important. Because if at some point somebody buys it from you and they get hit with a duplicate content penalty, they're going to be super pissed off at you, and it's going to be your fault because you allowed your article to rank on Google. So that's really it, guys. Those are my tips. Pick a name, choose a niche, check out this video if you need help on that. Implement SEO, implement those 3 types of articles that I mentioned, and set up your blog portfolio so it looks like a marketplace. That's it. With that, you should be off and running. Let's go get it.